Start again. Yes, from number one.
Alfredo and Henry were the highest scorers in their tests.
And also, when you use a pronoun, say that this is singular pronoun or plural.
This is plural.
Yes,
The President of the Republic gave his inaugural speech to the Parliament, singular.
singular.
Some valuable items have been stolen from their cases. From
Their
their case.
from their case. There
Plural.
is next
Each of my sisters asked for a reward for her hard work.
her
Singular.
hard work. Singular because each of my sisters means that he is talking about every sister separately. Okay, so one sister at one time. So okay, it will be her sister, her, and that is singular. Yes.
The new teacher, carrying the pile of books, lost her balance at the entrance of the classroom. At the entrance to the
His or
classroom.
his or her because teacher is can be used for male and female both.
These boys were thoughtless and have all disgraced the name of their school. Sir, this is correct.
Exactly. Yes. There. This is
Both of the new pilots took
which
charge.
the number six is correct and number seven.
Both of the new pilots took charge of their plane for a passenger flight. This is plural.
Abdurrahman, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it okay now?
Yes, sir. Now it's okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So that's it. Now moving to the next page where we have the topic relative pronouns. This is page number 139 of book. Page number 139 of book. Okay. Relative pronouns. First, we will read the information that is given on the right side of this page inside a box that is called remember. The definition is given in of relative pronoun has been given inside. A relative pronoun does what it says. It takes an idea and relates it to a person or a thing. A relative pronoun, I told you, like if you remember, we have discussed this relative pronoun before, this topic, and I told you that which pronouns are called the relative pronouns, like who, whose, when, that, which, when, where. These are relative pronouns. The pronouns which start with W, other than that, okay, that starts with T, and all others start with W. Okay, so they are relative pronouns. Now, a relative pronoun is a pronoun that links the idea with person or things. For example, when I say, where is the boy who asked me a question? Me the question. Where is the boy who asked question? Okay, where is the boy who asked question? Now, what is the idea here? Who asked the question? Asking question is the idea, and it is this idea is being related to this idea is being related to the boy, the word boy, because he was the one who asked the question. So where is the boy who asked the question? Okay, here that who is linking the idea and the person. Okay, who is telling us that this idea is linked to this person. Okay, and remember that we use who for the people or person, and which for the things. We will discuss them in detail over here. Now come to the top of the page. Come to the top of the page. Answer the following questions. She is going to discuss this relative pronouns now by discussing these by solving these questions. Answer the following questions. Number 1A. What don't you like about these two sentences? The first sentence is I talked to your teacher who told me about your unfinished homework. Would this be better and why? The second one, look at the second one. Like you have to choose the better one. The second sentence is the same, but he has used a relative pronoun over here to link both sentences. In the first part, we had two sentences. Now we have joined. In the second part, we have joined both of them. The second part is I talked to your teacher who told me about your unfinished homework. So what do you think? Which one is better, the first one or the second one?
Sir, second one.
Second one. Why? Because it is it is being written in a flow. In a flow, you don't have any break, any pause between both parts of this sentence. Okay, and but if you look at the first one, there is a full stop, so there are two separate sentences which can create any ambiguity or complication. So to avoid the complication and ambiguity, we use the relative pronouns, okay, as he has used over here. We will see the sentence again. I talked to your teacher who told me about your unfinished homework. Who is being used for the teacher over here? And teacher is a person. Whenever you have a person that is being linked with the relative pronoun, we will use who. If it is not a person and it is a thing, then you will use which. For example, look at part B. Join up these two sentences to make them flow better. The two sentences are I like going out with my dad. He always finds me something interesting to do. So, what will be used over here? Like, I like going out with my dad, who always finds me something interesting to do, or I like going out with my dad, which always finds me something interesting to do. Which will be used or who will be used?
Who?
Why?
Check which is used for things.
Yes. Yeah, we will use who over here because we have to use it for a person, dad. Dad is there, so who is explaining or referring the person instead of thing. Now look at the second one. Number two. Now look at, okay, here in number one, he told you the usage of who. He said that we use it when we have the person which is being referred by it. Okay, now he is going to talk about which in the second one, and you will be clear after doing this part two. Number two. Now look at these. Now look at a different type. There are two sentences. This is my favorite photo. It shows you the beach and the palm trees. A photo is a thing, right? A photo is a thing. So we have to use a pronoun which is used for the things instead of using the pronoun which is used for the people. Okay, this is my favorite photo. Who shows you the beach and the palm? But this is wrong because we have used who for a thing, and we know the rule, which is used for the thing. So the correct sentence will be, "This is my favorite photo, which shows you the beach and the palm trees." Now, come to these three questions. Fill in the three sentences. Fill in the gaps with the correct relative pronoun, like who or which. If you think that this relative pronoun will link a person, then you will use who. If you think that this relative pronoun will link to a thing, then you will use which. Okay, read these three sentences, write the answers, and raise your hand. Okay, so you will be using only who or which out of these two. Anyone out of these two? Yes, do it quickly. Yes, boys. Yes, then Ahmed Irfan. A.
Yes, sir. Eh,
I did some shopping for my next door neighbor who has been very unwell.
Yes, who? Because we have to use the relative pronoun for the neighbor over here. Neighbor is a person, so we will use who and not which. Okay, number two.
B. I can't do this homework, which is far too difficult for me.
Yes, which will be used over here. Why? Because we have to use this relative pronoun for homework, and homework is not a person, rather it is a thing. So it would be I can't do this homework, which is far too difficult for me. Okay, and C.
See, I've reached the last few pages of the story, which I find very sad.
Yes, which will be used over here. Why? Because the relative pronoun is being used for the story. That is not a person or people. It is a thing. So we have to use which. So in first blank, who, the second blank, which, and the third blank, which. Okay, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, come to question number 3. Now consider how we use whose to join up sentences. First, we discussed about who and which. Okay, now we are going to talk about the third relative pronoun, that is whose. You will learn now about the usage of whose, like where to use whose. Let me tell you first that remember that when you have two sentences where you find a case of possession of something, you will use, okay, whose, okay, instead of which or who. If the case is possession, like it is showing the possession, the ownership of something. For example, look at this sentence. There are two sentences. We will link these two sentences by using the relative pronoun whose, because these two sentences are carrying a possession case. Look at this. I will tell you, I will explain more. I like going to see my friend. This is first part, first sentence. And the second one is, his computer games are better than mine. So we are going to use whose over here because it is these both sentences or the context of these both sentences carries a case of possession in it. Whose computer games? Whose computer games? Okay, like the possession of the friend. Okay, it is showing the possession of that the computer games are in the possession of the friend. So it would be I like going to see my friend whose computer games are better than me. Joined together, they become I like going to see my friend whose computer games are better than me. I hope you understand this. You understood it. Now,
Yes, sir.
uh, use the possessive form of who to join these sentences. So remember that whose is the possessive form of who. Okay, whose is the possessive form of who. Now, there are two sentences. We will use whose to link both of them. So, and before linking, before using the pronoun, we have to remove the other pronoun which is given over here. For example, if you look at part A, there are two sentences, and we have to use the relative pronoun whose here. Okay, look at this. I met the famous writer, and the second part is his stories about dinosaurs have been bestsellers. So we will remove his first because that is another pronoun. We will remove his from here. We will use whose in between both of these sentences. So it will go like this. I met a famous writer whose stories about dinosaurs have been bestsellers. Okay, because we have a case of possession in it. Okay, now look at part B. I shall keep out of the way of my angry sister. This is the first part. And the second one is, her tempers are not to be experienced. This is the second part. So, and we know that we are going to use a possessive relative pronoun, our relative pronoun which shows the possession of something. So it will be like this. I shall keep out of the way of any my angry sister whose tempers are not to be experienced. Whose? See, we have removed her, okay, and we use whose, okay, because it is a case of possession. Now, question number 4, the last one. What's wrong with the following sentence? You will read this sentence and tell me what is the what correction is required over here. The sentence is, I'm lucky to have so many friends which are really good to me. So what do you think?
Which?
So what will be used
Who?
instead of who? Why?
Sir, it's talking about the friends.
It is talking about the
Friends.
friends. Okay, so it should be, I'm lucky to have so many friends who are really good to me, not which, because which is used for the people. So and we have the friends over here, the word friends over here. So it is people, it's a person or people. That's why we will use uh, uh, I'm lucky to have so many. Yeah, we will use who. I'm lucky to have so many friends who are really good to me. There is no case of possession in it. No case of possession in this sentence. So we have to use which or that. Sorry, which or who. And we know that friends is a word which is used for the people. So we have to use who, because according to the rules of English grammar, if it is referring to a person, then you will use who. If it is referring to a thing, you will use which. Okay, so just these are the usages of these three relative pronouns: who, whose, and which. Okay, I hope you are clear about it. Let me stop first and then we'll